It is August 14th, 2021. A group of college students have just spent the past few days gathered in this large cabin in Michigan, busy preparing for the coming week. The next 5 days had been carefully planned for an entire year, all leading up to this moment. Soon, Unbounders from all around the world will be gathering in Lake City, Michigan for fellowship, growth, learning, a lot of laughs, and a whole lot of partying. But this year felt particularly special, especially for many on the team, since Apex Ignite had been canceled last year. The excitement had been building for well over a year, and as the staff and cabinet unloaded the trailers, you could feel the energy in the air. We were back. Soon, the stations were set up, those driving began to arrive, and the buses pulled up. It was time for Apex Forge 2021.
One of my favorite parts about Apex Forge this year were the phenomenal speakers that we were able to bring in. Ryan Baumberger, Shane Morris, and Nathan Rittenhouse.
It was so neat to see how each session built upon the next.
Because of the phase of life that you're in.
And that responsibility is to worship our Creator.
As well as all 8 of our alumni speakers. Rachel Kinsey, Molly Weber, David Rethmeyer, Hannah Rocky, Andy Novotny, Dylan Whitaker, Jace Bauer, and Riley Moss.
It's always super cool to hear from people who are more your age and in similar seasons of life. Hearing some of the people and their experiences and the different aspects of culture, whether it was community or social media or communication.
While at Apex, I didn't take half as many notes as I would have liked during the sessions, but I enjoyed every minute that I got to hear, and I look forward to re-listening to all of the sessions on recording later.
I think one of the most exciting things about it was the final day of PIGEON project.
There we were, Apex Forge, and the hunt for the treasure was on.
We had 16 different teams following 16 different sets of clue trails, all after this treasure chest.
After finding the rest of our clues and our map piece, we assembled with the rest of our team and went gallivanting into the woods in search of the treasure.
It was just amazing to see an actual treasure hunt come to life.
We found it after a short while.
Hey, here's a big X.
And began digging.
Boom Tubes Incorporated did not have any shovels.
Nobody has a shovel?
Nobody has a shovel.
So, in the words of one of the Rockies, many hands make light dirt.
Many hands make like dirt.
One of the most thrilling parts was pulling a treasure chest actually out from under the ground.
And so the day was won. Boom Tubes got their boom rock. And the rest of us brought home the gold.
So, SOAPBOX Derby. SOAPBOX Derby was a blast, both actually at Apex and in the planning phase leading up to Apex. It kind of became known as the cabinet's unsupervised team because the way most of our meetings went down is we would just come up with a really silly idea, and then we'd chase after that silly idea until we found a way to make it work and then plugged it into the event somehow, and that led to all sorts of craziness.
I would say from a driver's perspective, the course was fairly intimidating, actually.
Having people get dodgeballs thrown at them while they're racing down a track and getting soaked by our giant super soakers that we all brought.
Definitely a dampening experience for the drivers, I'm sure. Got another push by one of your teammates, made it to the courtyard, final push by another teammate into the grassy area, then you got to go down a grassy hill, pretty steep, off of a ramp, and your time stopped as soon as you got off the ramp.
That was a really great...
All of that though led to the event having this really silly, fun feel that created a really cool dynamic. Just to see everybody running around socializing, but also getting into the intensity of the race. what was even more impressive was how well some of our drivers did. I mean, Lucas Del Rio and his team, who ended up winning the tournaments, somehow managed to cut 2 seconds off of his time each round of the tournaments.
How you feeling? I feel so excited, man. I feel like I did a good run, but man, I don't know. I'm super happy. I hope she wins, honestly. She's played really good.
It was also a blast for the awards ceremony, just the ambiance of it being dark now, but having the lights on around the courtyard, everybody cheering whenever we announced somebody winning whatever silly trophy, like the slowest time award even, or the team pushing award. My two favorites, the biggest crash award and the biggest finish award, both had a little bit of pyrotechnics to fare. And then also just to see the excitement on everybody's face when we announced the championship trophy, and Lucas Del Rio ended up getting carried around on his teammates' shoulders and getting sprayed by a Sprite bottle. That was all just a lot of fun, and it was great to see how much everybody got engaged with the activity.
What'd you think?
It was wonderful. I mean, gosh. And she just decided to pull it, and I was like, oh, jeez. We were just ready to start, and I'm thinking there's going to be countdown. She's like, nope.
But those are the most fun times.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
100% worth it.
That screaming was amazing.
One of the things that made Apex really fun this year for me was getting to see the different tournaments and free time. It was fun to get to see different students interact and talk with each other during that time and have deep, meaningful discussions, and also have a great time playing in the different tournaments that we had set up.
So there's so many things I enjoy about Apex, but walking around during free time, I particularly enjoyed the volleyball games this year. And one of my favorite memories was watching one particularly epic volleyball game where I watched the Caswell sisters basically dig out everything Nate sent across the net. And if you've ever watched Nate play volleyball, you know he sends it across the net at a pretty high velocity, and to watch that get dug time and time again by both the Caswell sisters there in the back on their end, and then get sending it back over. It was a pretty epic game to watch, and that was a lot of fun. But I think the highlight for me this Apex was something a bit unusual. I just noticed more this year and appreciated more this year, kind of the intergenerational aspect of Apex. We always have some folks who come who not only work the events and help with everything, but who also just lend their experience and their wisdom. And then students' respect for them was definitely a highlight. And then the other end of the spectrum, it's always fun to have my younger children there, but also this year to see some of the younger Cashmans and Jack family there helping. Megan called them her junior squad. They weren't just there, but they actually played a big role in the event. They worked as stagehands, they worked as errand runners, and just helped out wherever they could. I just think that's really special and really extraordinary to watch.
Good? Yup. 1, 2, 3. If it does never tell, it's not a monkey. Even if it has a monkey kind of shape. If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey. If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey. It's an ape.
Boom. Boom. I had the great opportunity to be a part of Unbounds Got Talent, or UGT.
Unbounds Got Talent.
All the performers gathering backstage.
I was saying that to Andre, and
a lot of nerves and all the kind of anticipation building up. A lot of kind of goofing off and having fun as well. And then it was showtime.
How about we start this night off right?
And every hour's a song, go make your album.
We went out on the stage, and honestly, it went better than any of our rehearsal practices. And it was super fun. There was a lot of surprises, I guess you could say. Things like oranges being thrown and people sleeping, and that just made it even more interesting. And then Matthew announced that it was a group that had won.
The Sounds of Apex.
It was pretty awesome. And I have a trophy. It was a really good experience, and I'm really glad that I did it.
Carnival was a brand new Apex activity this year, and it was so much fun. It happened on Monday night right after the UNBOUND'S Got Talent show. So we finished up the show and we walked out the circle driveway and we go up this hill and come into this clearing in the woods. There were lights strung overhead, there was cotton candy, and all of these traditional carnival booths. I think one of the most popular activities was the arm wrestling, and wow, the competition was intense over there. It was pretty much non-stop. I think my favorite was watching the sibling matches. We had the Chin brothers, the Caswell sisters, the Rocky brothers, and a bunch of other sibling pairs going head-to-head.
Shane Morris and Jonathan Brush. Shane was one of our speakers at Apex, and he stayed for a good portion of the event, which was really cool. They were hanging out in Carnival and decided that they should challenge each other. I'm not sure whose idea it was. I think it was Shane's idea. I will say that I think Jonathan had an unfair advantage just because he had a much better cheering squad than Shane did.
And meanwhile, things were happening at all the other booths. We had putt-putt golf, sword fighting, high striker where you had to bring the hammer down and try to ring the bell. We had speed pitching, a milk bottle toss, and several other booths. We also had some stage shows running throughout the evening at different points. We had several games, some raffle drawings, and a very shall we say, unique song by the Rocky Brothers.
This song is for all our pyrotechnical heroes. What they lacked in discretion, they made up in combustion.
Unbound graduation from start to finish is an absolutely incredible part of what makes Apex unique. Each student has a unique story, and that they haven't just spent 4 years at an institution, but that they have traveled the world, that they have been able to serve in their communities, that they've been leaders in their church, they've been leaders in the student community. It's incredible to be able to see the things that our Unbound students are able to accomplish while earning their degrees. So walking across the stage for an Unbound graduate means so much more than just 4 years of an education, and that's what makes Unbound so unique and so special. And then, my goodness gracious, at the end of the night, we know how to party like it's nobody's business. We get to go outside and be under the lights and spend time with our friends and family, and fantastic frisky donuts and cookies, might I add, and just enjoy all of the hard work that has gone into these students and their degrees.
I probably have to say one of my favorite nights is graduation night, and that is due to all the excessive dancing and also the musical chairs, which shout out to Perrin for winning the last musical chairs thing at Apex, which was amazing. The Apex community, everyone makes you feel so welcomed. It's like a huge family, but graduation night is just amazing because you get to see everybody graduate and get to hang out with people and do tons of dancing, and it's so much fun, and it's just like a complete blast, and I love everything about it and can't wait to go back next year.
Sit down, dude. He doesn't want to admit that he was on the Unbound staff too, so. Yeah, you think that you didn't get much sleep this week. You're really just a bunch of amateurs. These people are the pros. What do you guys have, 5 hours collectively since you got here? Pretty much campus at Apex.
Day 5 is always bittersweet. It's a time to thank all the amazing people who worked so hard to make Apex happen. I especially want to shout out my media team again, who worked so crazy hard. It's a time to say goodbye to our friends. It's a time to give our family a hug one last time before we all go back to our separate worlds. But Apex for me has always been about the fellowship, the encouragement. Yes, we have awesome things and we do awesome activities together, but it really is the late night discussions, the prayer times with brothers and sisters, the talks and encouraging each other to do the ordinary things well and to be unbound with them. So as we go back out and live life and do school, let's continue to encourage each other to reshape our culture. Be unbound. I will see you around.